It's GURPS time again. I'm back with some GURPS action today. It's been far too long since I've done any GURPS type content. But here we are. So I posted on my coffee site a few weeks ago I've my updated fantasy templates. I put these together, gosh, it must have been 10 years ago now. I was digging through my hard drive and I found these when a friend and I were thinking about we were talking about higher powered fantasy gaming. We're guilty of really preferring the OSR style fantasy where you're playing loser nobodies. We typically do like a funnel, 0 level funnel kind of start our characters, and we make the characters in GURPS always. And they're just losers. They're real randos. You've seen perhaps my solo adventures using randos to heroes rules. So we prefer that and get a lot of mileage out of that. But lately, with the new Pathfinder release, I was looking at that and watching and listening to some actual plays and watching them have some fun. And sometimes other people inspire you to step out of your usual rut and try some new things. So I was reaching for my templates that I made long ago, and these are 100-point character templates. So again, they're much more competent than the randos that we typically roll up randomly and quickly. These guys would be way better. Those guys often pan out to be about 10-point characters, or sometimes if you got a really good, if you got lucky on the attributes, you can get up to 50 or 80-point randos pretty easily. But this assumes 100-point characters or higher, so they have to be at least 100 points. You can start off your players with more points if you'd like, easily enough. But you really can't make use of these templates much if you have less than 100 points. Because as we go through here, you'll see there are the basic races, all statted out, and the basic class, character classes, the old school, not necessarily old school, but the D&D classes. So we've got elf, dwarf, halfling, gnome, and human, of course. Each template costs close to 50 points. Okay, so here, for instance, so the idea being, if you've got a 100-point starting character, you sink 50 points into your race template, and then you choose a class template, and you spend your 50 points in each. And whatever you have left over, you'll have a few points depending on what you choose. Like, for instance, the gnome template, he only costs 42 points to gain that all those racial traits. Or the elf is 46. Slight difference there. You'll have a few points you can move around and add to skills or take new skills. If you take a human, though, there's 0 points. So you pocket the extra 50 points, and you can get really good at your starting skills, for instance. So it really highlights the beauty, the versatility of GURPS, I think, here too. Say I choose a dwarf, I sink 47 points into that. That gives me a strength of +1 off the top and health +1. His move is -2. He's a little slower. He gets the extended lifespan. He can detect hidden doors just supernaturally, basically, by walking by it. He has a chance, 10 or under, 50% chance to notice hidden doors or detect traps. Magic resistance of 3, so he subtracts 3 from any magic resistant checks he makes. He has infravision and a -5 disadvantage for stubbornness. Once again, the versatility of GURPS allows you to, if your particular dwarf is not stubborn, take that off. No problem. Take off the 5-point disadvantage, then you have to pay an additional 5 points on the template. Same with any of these things. You can, say, this is just a guideline for my particular vanilla fantasy world, where I see my dwarves as being, slightly stronger, slightly tougher, and slightly slower. that doesn't work for your particular character or for your world, you know, swap things out. No problem. Say I've got my dwarf, and I'm going to go, well, he's got magic resistance as a racial trait, so it's going to make him to be hard to be a magic user. Let's say he's, here we go. He's a thief. I'm going to make a dwarven thief. So I used, what was it, 47 points. The thief template is 35. So that's 70, 81. Was it 46? 47, 82. 82 points. So with that, I get streetwise, escape, skills. These are all skills: pick locks, pick pockets, blah blah blah, as you see there. He gets the contact advantage. I love that. Gotta love a game that builds in social advantages, such as contact with the Thieves Guild. So this is all my thieves. If you want, you can of course ignore that if it doesn't fit your character concept. But for 10 points of the 35, you get contact with the Thieves Guild at skill 12. So anything that the Thieves Guild could conceivably get done, they can do it at skill 12. So that'd be streetwise. That would be, you know, fencing, kind of skills, like selling. What else? I'd allow them to roll. Not diplomacy, but the bartering. The bartering, cheapers. Off the top of my head, I can't seem to remember the merchant skill. Why couldn't I think of that? Stuff like that. They are available fairly often with a 9 or less. I love that mini system built into the GURPS game. If the thief, my dwarven thief, goes off looking for his contact, trying to get a hold of somebody in the Thieves Guild, he rolls a 3d6. If he rolls a 9 or under, he finds somebody. If not, they're busy, they can't be found, whatever. And they're usually reliable in their information or aid. Fun stuff. Okay, so that is the basic rundown of how that works. Once again, if I've got, if your specific character concept, say my guy specializes, he's kind of the dungeon delver type. He's not really into picking pockets or escape artist but he's great at picking locks and traps and perhaps stealth and climb. So maybe I'd even want to just remove pickpockets and escape, or just leave them, and I've still got what did I say, it came to 82 points spent so far, so I could just spend the remaining points probably just dumping them into pick locks, stealth and traps, you know. GURPS, you know, we all love it for its versatility. Imagine now if I, instead of being the dwarf, I decided to make the human thief. I'd free up the 47 points, and then he would be a very competent starting thief. He'd be great at his skills, but he would lack the dwarven supernatural ability to detect hidden doors and traps. So you win some, you lose some. But I love how GURPS allows that point buy system. You can shuffle those points around and get the character exactly that you want within the bounds of the power limit, the character point total, of course. But yeah, you can get the versatile human character going with a ton of extra points, maybe learn a ton of extra skills, a very broad range of skills, or you can really focus in. A fun one would be the elf, the elven mage. Elves get magery advantage 0 as part of their racial traits, and that would bump up your magery by, well, 5 points. You'd get 5 points back to spend on spells. So if I had a elven mage, it looks like I'd be paying out 76 points minus 5, so 71 points. That's pretty sweet. That'd give me 29 points for spells, say, if I just started as is with these racial abilities and these mage skills. that'd be pretty sweet. That would be so 29, 1 point into each spell. 29 spells starting off, not bad. I'd probably have a fatigue of 10, so I couldn't cast a ton of spells, but I'd know a lot of spells. Have a very wide variety to choose from when it comes to spell casting. And for those out there who aren't familiar with GURPS, there's no spell slots that you have to learn or then you forget for the day. You spend your fatigue points or your mana points to fuel your spell casting. So you can keep casting stuff as long as you got the juice to do it. Since this is a bit of a preview of the templates here, I'll just go over the elf here, for instance. I gave them a -1 to strength, but a +1 to dexterity, a +2 to perception, extended lifespan, attractiveness for 4 points, magery at 0, so all elf-born people they have the natural innate ability to at least perceive the use or the existence of magic around them. They can't cast spells for free, just for being an elf, but they can sense it. They have night vision, they have skinny for -5 disadvantage. They have detect hidden doors as well, immunity to ghoul paralysis, so this is a throwback to the old days, and they have overconfidence because of their snooty, uppity attitudes. So yeah, that's about it. I'll give the link in the description for download if you want to look at this closer. And maybe these will be useful for you. You'll see, yeah, there's the barbarian. The cleric is there's a lot of notes on the traits there because of the turn undead ability. I made my own turn undead. There are different examples of it in source books for GURPS, but I wanted my own. So this one, mine, again, feel free to swap it out if it doesn't agree with your world, but I saw mine as working as turn undead. It's a corrosive innate attack, and it's based on it's a sense based on vision. So any undead that can see, has line of sight on the cleric, suffers 1 dice of corrosion damage, and has the linked terror effect. So they must make a fright check, as well as starting to melt. Starting to corrode. So another beauty of GURPS, you can fine-tune and tweak your advantages. That allows a cleric character, as they grow in experience and gain more character points, they can they can cast spells. They can certainly learn more spells, but they can start spending more points into the turn undead ability. Maybe get the damage up to 2 dice, 3 dice, 4 dice, whatever you want. Maybe start adding levels to the terror linked ability on that turn undead, so that it inflicts negatives on the fright check, just making it harder and harder to resist the fright, causing more and more undead to fail their fright check, and more of them are being stunned in fear, or just cowering in the corner, or all out fleeing. Yeah, it's good stuff. The fighter. This is one of my favorite favorite classes. Always in D&D as well, but especially in GURPS because of the combat. It's so detailed. But the fighter template is very terse, and that is on purpose. A fighter class can be so varied in its application of how they fight. I thought it would be fitting just to cost 30 points to be a fighter. You've got, assuming 50 points for most classes around there, you've got 20 points to just customize where you want. Just sink those 20 points into broadsword and shield, maybe. Or maybe this dude's got a lance, so he's just got 8 points into lance right out of the bat. You get the idea. So that's pardon my cut and pasted art. I found some old art, and yeah, that's why we can't sell this kind of stuff. This isn't my art. But if you want to download for free, feel free. If you appreciate my materials and my services, feel free to tip me on coffee. Buy me a coffee if you so choose. But that's it for today. Fantasy templates for GURPS, yay. Roll on.